Charlie Beard here again. I'm an undergraduate marketing major and BIA minor. Um, for my third session today, I went to see it was called the Living Life with Machines, the Good and Bad of AI. And I was going into it thinking, or the good AI versus the bad AI. And I was thinking it was going to be going in and talking about AI applications on like where they're being used and how some are less ideal than others. And what it turned out when we got in there was it was a session where there was three, or one was she was the like the UN's expert for AI, basically, like the head of the AI team, and like creating regulations, determining how they should go about monitoring and regulating it in the future. She's like the leader of that. And then it was another guy who's big in the AI industry, and then surprisingly a comedian was up there, and actually the fourth person was an AI model called Blair. They didn't really participate too much in the overall discussion, but they were showing the capabilities of the AI. It was actually listening to the whole conversation, and at the end, they had it give some opinions on each of the presenters, like opinions, and talk about what they talked about. And it was really cool to see how it was able to, throughout the presentation, not only take in all the information that was said, but differentiating who was saying each bit of information, if only by the voice, because they were kind of chiming into each other, asking each other questions. But it's not like at the beginning of each time they spoke, they were like, "Oh, this is me talking. I'm the one who's saying this now," and having the AI model like take note of that. It was just able to pick up on the different voice cues and what each person was saying, and I thought that was really cool. Um, Most of them seemed to have a positive outlook on AI. The comedian, who also was seemingly the least knowledgeable about AI, was making me a little upset because he was coming at it from what seemed to be an uneducated position. He seemed to have disliked AI from the start and hasn't done research as to prove or disprove his opinions. He's just kind of been set with those, and he was coming at it from like AI is bad for not only the creative industry, which is obvious. There's jobs at risk. There's a lot of stuff that can go. It's controversial in what AI is creating and how we value that as a society compared to the real art that people are making. But he was also going at it from the perspective of like he thought that no matter how much we train these AI models, they're never going to be good, like as good as humans at anything. They're always going to be behind us. And I thought that's where most of his least educated perspective on it came from, because I've already seen AI go from when it first came out being very common at making mistakes and at a knowledge level that I thought was below my own. I thought I knew more about the topics I knew about than the AI was conveying to me, for at least the topics I was confident in. And now I'm watching AI becoming a master at everything. And it's also been improving constantly with how it is citing its sources and providing evidence for why it believes it. And maybe that's just me and how I'm prompting the AI and I'm seeing that side of it. But he was coming at it from a much more anti AI future side. But it was a very, very fun discussion to hear. One thing that the UN person was discussing a lot about is how people are scared of regulation a lot. Like the myth that regulation stifles innovation is something she discussed a lot, because it's not that regulation stifles innovation, it's that regulation makes innovations actually beneficial for everyone involved rather than just helping those who are making money off of it. Like how she described it, it's like, of course, the $1 trillion company is going to be upset when you letting them sell your data to have better AI options on their site, but it's better for everyone involved if that's the case, because then when we do have those AI capabilities, it's not taking advantage of our human rights to get to that level. It's just at that level because that's what it's capable of. And I thought that was really cool. A little more on the AI, they actually had it during the whole conversation. While it wasn't participating in the active discussion they were having, it was taking note of their discussion and actually generating some AI images, which I thought was a cool idea at the beginning because I didn't really know what it was going to come out looking like. But it ended up making some really weird generative AI images, which I thought made sense. I mean, they were having 10 minutes of discussion going over 4 or 5 different questions potentially that had nothing really to do with one another. And then they were asking the AI model to kind of put all that together into something. And the main theme was definitely Texas, because a lot of the questions ended up bringing up South by Southwest. And it obviously knows that South by Southwest is in Austin, which is in Texas, so they had like the Texas flag in a lot of the pictures they were creating, or like the shape of the Texas state, which I thought was interesting because I was clearly seeing where it was getting that information, but I was less sure of where a lot of the other stuff on the images were coming from, and I kind of wanted to see. I like the back end to see like how it's actually coming up with that. So I want to kind of see that. But the best part was at the end. I like how I said they had the AM model like keep track of everyone's different responses, but the way they had it do that was to they had it roast each of the different presenters up at the front, and then Elon Musk as well. And they just kind of weren't talking. It wasn't wouldn't say nonsense, but they were talking about they like the AI model picked up everything they were saying at each person specifically and was able to like I wouldn't say they were great roasts or particularly funny, but it was extremely impressive that the AI model was able to come up with the way it come up with it to the level it did in the way that it did. I thought it was really awesome to see, and kind of excited to see. I've been excited for the future of AI for a while, but this kind of helped reinvigorate some of that future like because I haven't really gotten that firsthand experience with these next gen AI models. I've been mostly using the ChatGPTs and stuff, so I'm excited for the future.